Mm-mm-mm.
You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, today's guest needs no introduction in the Burleson area or to local law enforcement. It's Otto or Arslanovski. I'll say it right. Arslanovski. What derivative is that name from?
Albanian.
Albanian, okay. Are you related to the Sammy's crew in some way?
So I think we're all cousins,
Yeah.
but not directly related.
Yeah, but
Close enough.
And same with Villa Diana, right?
Yep. Yeah,
So-
they're the guy that owns Villa Diana. His father knew my father in Yugoslavia, so they were friends growing up.
Yeah. Well, but you were born here, doggone it, in America and all that stuff. No,
100%.
Yeah, so we won't have ice breaking through the door today.
You know what? That doesn't stop them, man. They don't care.
Okay. I said we wouldn't talk politics because we're going to talk about the restaurant business. Everybody knows about our place, but they don't know all the things about running a restaurant. Same with Gina's, and we can talk about some of the background of that because people think running a restaurant is a glamorous profession. I think
That's a blast.
Well, I know you enjoy it, but I'm sure some days are better than others.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when they think of fancy restaurants, whatever, they think of the, maitre d' or the chef going around and schmoozing with the guests and, all the celebrities. But, the turnover rate of restaurants is significant, even in good times. So we'll talk about that. But let's go ahead and do the ads, including yours. Since you're helping pay for this, of course, everybody knows our place. You were telling me last night, I was at Gina's. You were telling me last night our place is doing okay.
Phenomenal. We're doing good. Paying the bills.
How about the one here in Crowley now?
Yeah, they're all paying their own bills, which is, the one in Crowley, I think, has been open 6-7 months.
Something like that.
Yeah, we're still paying. We're paying all of our bills now. We're not dependent on any saved money to keep it going.
No, good. And then, of course, Gina's, which was a long-time Burleson place that kind of had fallen on hard times, to be frank.
Yeah.
And so you picked it up. I'm going to ask how you got involved with that, but I love Gina's. So, I was there, like I said, last night with a buddy. We were watching the football game. Had good pizza, good beer, nice little waitress. I figure her name, Mackenzie, is that her name?
Yeah, Mackenzie.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and she, and it's just a very hometown atmosphere, and it's a good place to go, and it's where I do business. When I have a B&I meeting or meet somebody from B&I, that's where we do it because I like the food and I like the music. That's one thing we have in common.
The music is cool.
Yeah. I remember before you opened, you were kind of debating what kind of music to do, and I said, there's only one kind of music you can do. You can't do, country and western.
Well, you had your own blues channel for a while.
Yeah. Well, I did. And then I let that go, and then I tried to revive it with a bit more narrow a playlist, and never got the traction I thought it would, tell you the truth. But that's the nature of entrepreneurship, so I don't have any regrets. I wish the radio station had a better attraction, but you can't change listening habits.
No,
it's very tough. Also, our friend John Williams at Old Pro Roofing, 817-734-2756. Have your roof inspected. Apparently, we're going to have bad weather, So what I would suggest is that get some stuff to go to 2 or 3 pizzas, put them in the refrigerator, right? Yeah. I'm a weather agnostic. I don't believe in weather. No. It's just like it's always going to be a disaster, and then it falls apart at the Red River, or went south of us, or blah blah blah.
Yeah, we got the Burleson bubble.
Yeah, or if they say tomorrow's going to be sunny and mild, and then you wake up next day and you're up to your knees in it. So weather. It's like I don't even know why they bother with it on the news. But anyway, back to John, since he's paying for this. 817-734-2756. Old Pro Roofing is a local firm. It's right about a block from City Hall, so these are hometown folks.
They've been there forever. They've been in town forever. There's a lot of upstarts that just kind of show up all of a sudden when the weather gets bad. These guys have been here for a while.
There's 2 or 3 roofing companies other than Old Pro that I know have good reputations, and John's told me which ones they think well of. But since they're not paying for this, I ain't going to mention it. No. But there are a lot of people that just show up, and I would never do it with somebody that's like, well, we're located in Georgia or something like that. You want hometown folks, not just for the economic benefit, but because if you have a problem, you know where to find them. And I would have John come out and check my roof if I were y'all, because if you have old damage, the insurance companies are really difficult about it, and they'll call anything you have that hasn't been inspected within a year as old damage, and therefore they're not responsible, and blah, blah, blah. And he'll help you with the insurance companies. I bet you don't deal with insurance companies much. No, not at all. Anyway, thank you, John. Also, another friend of mine from BNI, Jeff Kelly with the Weathington Agency, 817-781-0546. You know Jeff.
Just a good friend.
Yeah, and he's really, really knowledgeable about real estate. And that's why, you know, you can do a lot of real estate online, but you want somebody tangible to talk to, right? And that's why, you know, I'm still old school. I like to do all my business in person, you know, or on the, you know, I know I'm big on phone call, but I like to do it in person. And I don't like email, you know, back and forth, back and forth. You want to deal with somebody that's real and knows the market and knows where to take you and all this other stuff. So call him at 817-781-0546 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. Also, my friend Rich Hooper at 88.3 The Journey, station out of Keene. My wife loves it. Mostly contemporary Christian music. It's a nonprofit, so if you want to donate, they'll take your money, and it's a tax deduction. And he's a good guy. Rich Hooper is all over the place. So anyway, let's talk about restaurant business.
Oh boy,
yeah. How did you get involved in it? Did you grow up in it?
So my dad was a chef when we were kids growing up. My dad was a chef at a place in Chicago, well known and did well. My mom got sick. She had gotten, she'd contracted a disease called viral encephalitis. Her and I think 15 other people in Illinois got it, and 13 of them died.
Good grief.
Her and another lady, I guess, survived. But it caused her to have scar tissue on her brain, and she suffered from seizures and memory loss. So she left her pretty stressful job at Pepperidge Farm as a production manager. And my parents decided to move to Texas and open up a restaurant. It was much more affordable to open up here. We had family here.
So it was a family thing that brought you to Texas.
Yeah.
And the weather, I guess.
Right after I graduated from high school, yeah.
Hey, Josh, I'm not getting hooked up on Facebook yet. You know, check into that, please. Anyway, yeah. So you moved to Texas. That must have been a culture shock. You didn't graduate high school, though, here, right?
No. I graduated in Chicago.
Right.
I'll tell you one funny story about moving here. So we're driving 2 days straight. We're driving with the U-Hauls. We're exhausted. We're tired. We took a wrong turn and ended up in Cleburne. And if you're familiar with Cleburne from a bunch of years ago, there was a Habitat for Humanity store.
Yes.
And outside they had a bunch of toilets sitting there. They were old toilets from homes. You could buy the toilet and put it in your old home. Well, we pulled into that parking lot to try and get our bearings and find a map. And we see all the toilets outside. So I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, Mom, why are there toilets outside here? And she said, well, in Texas, honey, it's so hot and humid. All the toilets are outside because the humidity will make the walls expand and they just fall over. So when you use a bathroom in Texas, you got to do it outside. Yeah. Okay. We were so upset, man. We wanted to turn around and go back. I never heard of anything like that. And I said,
you got conned a bit, did you?
Yeah, Mom conned us.
Well, it must have been, though, a shock of a sort, though, because, you know, I've been to Chicago a couple of times, and we were talking about that last night about how don't believe everything you see on Fox News about Chicago. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. But,
I actually grew up in a suburb called Bolingbrook that was a lot like Burleson, about the same size, it was kind of a farm community, quiet.
Well, you know, the thing about Burleson, when I moved here in 91, it was a cow town kind of thing. You know, the agriculture was still a main part of the economy. Now, not so much. It's a suburb, you know, very much so. So you came here in 86, and that place you have now is not your original location.
No, the original location is where Sammy's Pizza and Pasta is. That was the original our place in the 80s.
Yeah. How long were you there?
10 years.
10 years. See, I guess I just always remember that place as Sammy's, you know, but so I don't remember y'all being there like in the early 90s when I was here. I moved here in 91. And about the only place I remember that had the kind of food you had was Country Kitchen.
Yeah, Country Kitchen was open,
Yeah, and that kind of thing. But other than that, and the place you occupy now is Old Country Steakhouse, right? I'm sure all the old timers have told you that.
Oh, yeah. My wife was a waitress there.
Really?
Country Steakhouse, yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
Yep.
Well, the thing about it is when we moved here, Robin and I, and we started having kids, there's only about 3 places that we could go to, like in Old Country, and it had a Golden Corral, which was a grease trap.
Yeah.
And now they moved it to another location, and it went out of business, and now it's a bank.
Yeah. I think all the Golden Corrals have gone out of business, haven't they?
Probably.
Yeah.
And he probably couldn't stand the juggernaut of Cracker Barrel or whatever. And then there's a third one. It was a place called Jose's, which was Mexican food. And
I loved Jose's.
I
Jose's
didn't.
Oh my God, their chips and salsa was phenomenal.
Yeah, well, maybe out of towner like you might find that kind of Mexican food okay, but I thought it was terrible. But everybody went there because it was only about the only place to get a margarita. Yeah. So, and then it became China King later.
Became China King.
And now it was torn down, and they got a coffee shop and a bagel joint and whatever.
I like it better now.
I do too. Yeah. So, you've been around and you've seen the restaurant scene change and whatever else. Now all these other restaurants come in. And I would imagine that's been a benefit to you more than anything else. I know it's more competition for attention and dollars, but it also probably keeps more of the Burleson diners in Burleson, right?
It does. We've noticed since this time 2 years ago, we've probably gained 10 restaurants in my immediate, or 20 restaurants in my immediate vicinity that offer good options for lunch. So we've seen a little bit of a reduction in the amount of available diners because there's more choices. But keeping the money in Burleson is great. And there's so many great independent restaurants in Burleson.
That's what I prefer is independent ones or, locally owned or whatnot. I mean, I will give a couple exceptions. I do like El Phoenix because that's where I grew up. That's the kind of Mexican food we grew up with.
El Phoenix is good.
Yeah, and in the original in downtown Dallas, I remember many times eating there with my grandparents when I was a little kid. So, those kind of memories.
But I hear On the Border is good now that the Papa's brothers have taken it over.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, the new version is supposed to be really good.
And I've been to Rio Bombo, and it's fine, but Fresco's is probably...
I'm a Fresco's guy.
Yeah, that's probably the first place I'll go to for Mexican food.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any restaurants I would qualify as bad or I wouldn't go to or that kind of thing, but there are some that restaurants that are more of a go-to place like yours. For, when I want breakfast food, there's no thinking about it. I know where to go.
Yeah.
And as far as lunch, I've been at our place for lunch. Station 330 has a decent lunch.
Love Station 330.
The Rim has a good lunch, that kind of thing. And so sometimes we go to the places, and apparently you do too, right?
Yeah.
It's like I feel guilty almost about going to another restaurant, but no, you say don't do that.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Support them. I was at where was I the other night? Revelry, and I saw a bunch of customers. Yeah,
yeah, but y'all have different lanes, right?
Yeah,
and so you have Revelry for certain events and certain types of food, and you have yours for comfort food, certainly.
I go to Station 330 and Fresco's for every family member's birthday party, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, you're friends with both the managers of there. Yeah. Was it Jaime and Jesse?
Yep.
And I've only met Jaime once.
Really?
Yeah.
Jaime's a great guy.
Well, partly because I wish Fresco's was open more often, but they're probably doing the same thing a lot of restaurants are doing. They're having to pare back certain things because of the economy.
Yeah.
But I've met Jesse over at Station 330 several times, and I think he catered one of the chamber events, and it was pretty good, But you've seen the restaurants come, and offer various things, and people might assume that it's taken away business from you, but it's also the whole concept of you have synergy. If you have a whole bunch of it there, people will go to that.
Oh yeah,
like they'll go to Burleson to go out to eat, and then maybe they'll make their choice then. Yeah, as opposed to there's a couple good restaurants in Joshua, but I don't know how many people go to Joshua for that.
Joshua's growing.
It is. I've been there. That Hickory Tree over there, and there's a Mexican place over there now.
A friend of mine just if I get the name wrong, Branded Phoenix just opened it in Joshua. It's a kind of a dive bar with great pizza, great chicken wings.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on Facebook.
Yeah, Brandy.
But you're Brandy Irving. Yeah. I know a couple of people that go there, and he said, Allard, you got to go over there and get her on the show and all that stuff. But
she's a great person. It's fun.
So I'll make an effort to go talk to her. But again, back in the day, if you didn't want to go to Golden Corral, you always just went to Forward. There was another place, Bill and Marty Martin's.
Bill and Marty's, yeah. My wife worked there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how you met? Is her in the restaurant business?
She worked for my parents' restaurant up until my mom found out we were dating, and then she didn't work for my parents anymore.
Your mother objected to that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
It was a long story. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't even brought it up.
No, I'm sure, it's very romantic in hindsight. But
Yeah, Mom was strict. She, no fraternizing.
my mom would have been glad to just had a date. She's like, get out of the house. But anyway, you get into this business though. And a lot of people, I think, they start a business like this, a restaurant business. It's similar to any other business, I guess. They think of it as one thing, but it turns out there's a lot of other things they needed to have considered. What are some of the things that surprised you about running a restaurant? Because now you're very experienced, and there's probably not much left to surprise you. But I'm sure that
I learned a couple things. So I had to learn. So when you open a business, I get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
My restaurant gives me a paycheck every week. The money that's in the drawer in the register, that's not my money. That's the restaurant's money.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing I see restaurants having a hard time with is learning how to separate the business money from your money.
Mm-hmm.
I see people thinking, hey, man, there's 10 grand in a bank account. I can buy this. But you can't really treat it that way. That's money for when the air conditioner blows up or when. So learning to divide your money from the restaurant money was a big challenge, big thing to learn. Gosh.
Well, it's also think about dealing with labor issues. That to me is the hardest part probably of running a restaurant is dealing with labor.
For us, labor wasn't so bad because I treat all my employees fairly.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm heading with this, because when I go to our place, I see the same wait staff routinely, and that's not common. No. There's a young lady that waits on us every other Thursday with my Sunday school men, and she knows what we want, and she says, "Hey guys, I know what you do on a little pad," and boom, she's done. And so,
I think that's Crystal,
right? And that's a good thing because that's the kind of atmosphere you're trying to generate. Yeah. But it's nice to have that kind of familiarity. And one time, I think I changed up on her. Said, "No, I'm going to have home fries instead of hash browns." And she goes, "Okay," like I was, inconvenienced.
Oh, yeah, you broke everything.
Yeah, I broke her or something like that. But anyway, I know that in a lot of restaurant businesses, and I was part of that when I was a kid, the turnover is pretty high. But your turnover seems to be much more manageable.
I think we don't have an employee making under $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm. And that was before it was kind of required almost. We were paying more than the standard rate.
Yeah.
Even before.
I've got people that have been there 13 years.
Yeah.
And they don't hate their job. They love it. They come to work happy, and, we're family.
Lana's been there quite a while.
Lana worked for my parents in '86, and then she quit retired when she had children and raised them, and then she came back when we opened up our place.
Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah, that's a long time.
Oh yeah,
and your son also, he's probably been part of it since he was a young man.
Yeah, since he was a baby,
and now he's a grown man with a son and all that, and that's not so bad being a grandpa, is it?
And his wife was one of our waitresses at one time. But I didn't fire her.
Okay, good for you. You were a little bit more accepting than your mom, huh? Yeah.
And my mom was very accepting. It was a lot of circumstances there.
Oh, yeah, I know. But it's just, you're her baby, and what can you say? Okay. Yep. But as far as, running the other parts of the restaurant, there's all these other factors that it'd be hard to foresee, like COVID. Mm-hmm. All right. That really impacted your business.
Oh, yeah.
And in some ways it still does. Mm-hmm. Because we were talking a couple of years ago about how COVID really put a strain on your supply chain, so to speak. And, and a lot of people thought you're thinking strictly of the food, but you're telling me you couldn't buy straws to save your life, or paper napkins.
And then what's happened since COVID? So, like say a straw company, and we're just using straws as an example, but straw companies may have had 12 varieties of straws you can choose from. Mm-hmm. After COVID, they whittled down their available choices to maybe 2, which even like the jelly company before the Smucker's jelly, there were, I think, 13 different flavors available. Mm-hmm. Now there's 6, and they said they reduced it because of COVID, less people were buying it. But I think it helped kind of force some companies to be more efficient.
Well, I do know that you kept it open as a takeout. Yeah. But if it weren't for some assistance from that, the government
PPP,
plan, that's a second the PPP. That helped a lot of businesses out because you kept everybody on the payroll. Not everybody did that.
Every employee got a paycheck. We were shut down, I think, for 2 months.
Yeah,
and then down to 25% availability for gosh, 4 months it felt like.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's hard to eat with a mask on. So
Yeah.
and it took a lot of people finally to be comfortable enough to go out in public again.
Yeah.
As far as was that necessary or not, that's a whole nother conversation, but it was what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I do know that a lot of the restaurants, I know a couple in downtown Fort Worth that didn't survive, and one of them I really liked. And,
Which one was that?
La Taverna.
Okay.
It's on the corner. It was on the corner of 3rd and Commerce, I think. Not Commerce. No, it's further west now. It's 3rd Street and Throckmorton, I believe. And it was in the downtown area.
Well, when Oscars opened, the place they literally opened when the first day COVID started. He was open for a week and then had to shut down.
And that's bad news.
Yeah.
One thing is the day we shut things down, we were doing a podcast over at the Hub, over at Camille's old place. And I had Ken Shedder on.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about this, and he goes, well, I'll let you know if we go to this extent. This was about like 11 in the morning, blah, blah, blah. 2 hours later, he shuts the city down, more or less. I'm like, why didn't he tell me on the show? I could have, broken the news. It'd have been great for ratings and all that, but, whatever.
I was eating over at Fresco's when he decided to shut it down. And he actually called me, and I was sitting with Jaime. And I could probably pull it up on my phone. It's pretty funny. He called and goes, hey, I just want to let you know we are shutting the city down. You're going to have to close tomorrow. And we sent him back, and he was very upset. He was almost crying over the phone. He hated doing that. Yeah. But me and Jaime sent him a picture where we were flipping him off, and he said that made his day.
I knew when I was talking to him that day that this pressure of what was going on was really weighing on. But I did not know, and he didn't reveal to me that it was going to be that imminent. But you could tell that they had those conversations.
And he was getting pressure from both sides.
Right. Yeah. And it was an unpopular move for some. Yeah. But, it's like with the school board at the time. They took a lot of heat for how they handled it. But is there a playbook for this that they're ignoring? I don't know. Your friend here, Aaron Ash, hello from Cleveland. He shows up every show. I'm sure he's been to it's your brother that runs the place over at Cleveland, right? And, pardon. I have been to that one. I've been to your other one here a couple times here in Crowley. I've never been to the one in Mansfield, but I've never driven by it that it wasn't full.
Mansfield's great. And the Cleburne facility, it's beautiful. The building's beautiful.
It is.
We've got really big banquet rooms. We can host almost any function there. It's just really nice.
You ever think about doing that to the original? Because you don't want a banquet room in there?
The kitchen space we have and just geographically it would be complicated.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were talking about last night the possibility of expanding the one here in Crowley.
Yeah. There's a field next to us that we're kind of researching how to make it a parking lot. And if we do, we'll add a 4-season patio around the restaurant, add another 80 seats.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Because, when I was there before, it was like, when you say Our Place 2, it's like Our Place Junior almost.
Yeah.
It's about half the size, right? Yeah. Food same is good. Service is good. In fact, I saw some of the same waitresses, and your son was running it. Does he run it by himself?
He goes there one day a week.
I must have hated him on that.
He's one of my partners in the business. So
really,
yeah,
what a deal.
Yeah.
So he makes sure that place was just the same as the original, because that's what people are expecting when they walk in. They don't want to be disappointed. But no,
we have a brand reputation to protect.
Yeah, you do, and you do protect it. I'm very amused sometimes about you forgot to pay your bill, and you're very tactful about it. They didn't walk the check; they just forgot.
I forgot. People forget.
Yeah, well, okay, you're a lot nicer than I am.
Complicated world.
Yeah, or said, that coffee cup that you took with you.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. We had this lady walk up to the red. We watched her put 2 coffee cups in her purse. Mm-hmm. So we added, $40 to her check, and she came up screaming. She's like, "What's this?" And I said, "You put coffee cups in your purse. I assumed you wanted to buy them." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she buy them?
Yeah, she bought them.
Well, she had to. She's embarrassed now. You can't say, I meant to shoplift these, but you caught me. But I've seen post things about people walking the bill or stuff like that, or I remember one time somebody gave you a bogus $100 bill or something like that, and did you ever get repaid for that?
No,
I didn't think so.
We found a girl, and people blew her up on Facebook, and then she shut off her Facebook, and but $100 that government's not really going to get involved for a fake 100.
No, but it also sends a pretty clear message to others that might be thinking about forgetting to pay that your place is not the place to forget to pay.
And if you're hungry, come and talk to me. I'll feed you forever.
Oh, yeah. I've seen you do it.
Theft makes me just insane.
Well, it's not just rude. It's I don't know. It's arrogant. And a lot of your people, they depend on you for a job. And if everybody's walking out with stuff or not paying their bill, their jobs are in jeopardy.
And other restaurants, the chains that are around us, I'm friends with all of them. They tell us it happens several times a day.
Really?
By us, it happens once every 4 months. I think people know, hey, don't mess with our place.
What did like Chili's or something like that? They had a lot of people walking the bill.
Yeah, their corporate won't let them post anything.
All right. Well, here's a couple of messages. Taylor is out there doing something, I hope, important. Love me some Gina's Pizza, he says.
Thank you, Taylor.
And then Sherry Scott. Otto was very generous. And the police department. I wondered if they were going to weigh in, if Colin was going to jump in. We'd love to see your
Colin.
Fake 100s swing by any time.
No, they're too busy. We have more fun picking on those guys.
Well, they, it's at our place in particular. I eat there mostly in the mornings. I see a lot of people with badges there. So I think not only is it good reputation, good food, et cetera, but it's also like free security, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
well, if you feed the cops, they usually know where the good place is to eat.
Yeah, they do. And so, but I bet at least 2 out of 3 times I go there on that Thursday morning. Yeah. There's either Fort Worth, Crowley, or Burleson PD
Fort Worth
there.
has a training facility pretty close to the restaurant, so they all come after training and eat. The Burleson officers all show up, and
great. You've also, Colin told me, you catered a couple of their training events and brought in some pizza and such. The last time Colin was here, no, not the last time. When the last time? It was about 3 months ago. He was on the show doing one of his public service announcements, you might say. And we started, doing the ads. And he goes, I think I'm going to get some pizza today. And I thought it maybe just being nice, to help with the ad. And I was going to meet somebody there right after the show. And son of a gun, there they were, Yeah. So there you go.
Isn't Colin hilarious, the things he does with the city?
With the Wanted.
Most Wanted. That,
yeah. Well, I've known Colin for a long time. I knew his dad. I taught.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I taught with his dad, and good family. Really. That's one of the good things about living in the town long enough, and particularly being a teacher, is that you get to know people like in generations.
You've taught half of them. Victoria Johnson.
Yeah. It's and people ask, like Kelly Clarkson, I had for 2 classes, and we were pretty tight. We got along well. And people had asked, and some want to hear, well, she really was, a party girl. No, what you see on her TV show is exactly what she was.
She's a sweet kid.
Yeah, she very personable, and she hadn't changed a lick.
No.
And and she was outgoing then, very bright. Victoria, you see her, and she was more interested in local and state politics than probably any student I can remember.
Wow.
I mean, so this isn't some new thing she got involved in. She was like, even in high school, she really was tuned in to governing and the whole aspect of it. Whereas most kids take my class because the state of Texas says so. I mean, they may like it or enjoy it enough, but I don't know how many would take it if they didn't have to. Yeah. But she would probably take it again. So that's a good. And that's kind of what with you. You've been here long enough. You probably have had. I don't know how many people have brought their kids in for, their birthday or some special occasion or something, or maybe first dates. I don't know.
Well, Ken Fletcher. I remember him as a kid playing on the floor with toys at my parents' restaurant. And Chris Fletcher, he fixed my mom's garage after I drove into it twice.
Yeah,
and he actually dragged me into the house. He said, "Come here, I'm going to show you how this thing works." And he took me to the garage opener and told me, "Next time, push this button before you drive in."
Yeah, so. My door's from Texas door. I'm a garage door, and and that's another thing is like we know, the people behind the businesses.
Yeah,
and I think that applies to you more than most. I mean, everybody associates you with our place, and they associate quality service restaurant. And they associate that with you. That's a good reputation to have, because if you have a bad reputation in a small town, you won't last long at all. But you have a reputation you have, and you're probably going to be able to when your time comes, give it over to Ryan and let him run it for good. And you and Monica could go on those various trips you seem to be going to all the time.
Just little trips, quick trips.
Please, like you went to Dubai, about 2 years ago?
Yeah, but that was a special occasion.
Oh, okay.
No, my brother-in-law is an architect, and his firm was in charge of building the United States Pavilion at the World Expo in Dubai. And his company wanted him to go to represent, but he didn't want to go, just him and my sister. So they invited us to go with them and went to Dubai.
Of course, you go to Chicago every January, hang around your friend, Buddy Guy.
Got to hang out with Buddy Guy.
Yeah. He's one of the last of the old school R&B guys, isn't he?
I don't know. Hopefully he's got a bunch of years left in him, but he's still so much fun to watch.
Yeah. I remember when Sarah Carlson was one that connected me to you. It was a little bit after COVID.
Yeah.
And go to your restaurant. And, I said, I want you to sponsor and blah, blah, blah. And he said, sure, here's the check. Boom. I said, I like this guy. And we started talking about R&B and blues music and such as that. Yeah. And I know you're a big fan of that. You got Buddy's guitar there. In the
signed Buddy Guy guitar hanging up there.
And so I know it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So got any other big trips planned?
Oh, boy. No, I think we may be going back to Chicago in January or July.
July, yeah.
Summertime in Chicago, it's a great time. We're looking maybe Arizona, Sedona area, doing something like that.
I kind of referred to this earlier. A lot of people that see the news see all the stuff that goes on in Chicago, and they get they're frightened to go there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're telling me it's like any other city. You know where to go and where not to go.
I can go to Joshua and get killed in some of the right places. Sorry, Joshua.
Yeah.
But
the hood in Joshua.
Yeah, no, you can go to Fort Worth, you can go to Dallas, Grand Prairie. There's places you can go where you can get into trouble. There's places in Chicago I don't want any part of.
Yeah.
But, we go downtown and we enjoy the city. The city has the most amazing museums in the world.
Right.
The restaurants are second to none. The food is great. We go to the town I grew up in and spend a lot of time there.
Well, my wife and I have made a couple of trips there in the past. And when we go travel in any city or any other place like that, we don't do the touristy things that often.
Yeah.
But we did go to the Field Museum and the Shed Aquarium.
Yeah, that's the stuff you want to do.
Yeah, but we don't go like, all the tourist traps, you might say. What we like to do is the fine dining. And there, we went to an Italian place that was near Mike Ditka's Steakhouse. And I was thinking about going in there, but there was a big mob. And it was the Chicago Bears were playing that night.
Oh, yeah.
In the football, so there was big pack. We go in there, and we go into this Italian place, and it was old school. This wasn't, no offense, Olive Garden, but you're not ethnic enough for me.
Yeah.
So.
No, the old Italian places are just crazy out there. They're so good.
They were good, and it's like, man, I could gain weight in this town.
Yeah.
And there was another Italian place down on Michigan Avenue, same thing. And it's just, that's what we do. How do we get off on this? We're not talking about restaurants at all. I had all these other questions.
We're two friends chatting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as far as restaurants, do you have any others planned?
Not yet. We have a couple concepts in mind that I don't really want to get into too much. Well, it's completely different, but just keeping our eyes open. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ask you if you're not ready to talk about it, but we were talking about, a couple friends and I were talking about, what would we like to see in place that Razoo's that has left us? And they would throw out these names, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, we already have that, or I know the people that run that. I don't know if I want them to have the kind of competition, whatever. I do know that in Old Town we have enough pizza to go around.
No, another pizza place would be perfect.
You think so?
Right next to two more pizza places.
Yeah, right. No.
You know what I'd love to see? Cidercade. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Cidercade's kind of a restaurant and bar thing full of video games, and you pay an entrance fee, $20, and you play all the video games for free. And then, of course, you got to pay for your own food and drink.
Yeah,
but it's a very popular place in Fort Worth, and honestly, Burleson doesn't have. I mean, we have what's the racetrack place?
Alley Cats.
We have Alley Cats, which is great, but something in Old Town to do other than just drink or eat would be kind of cool.
Well, I've been also heard that they like to see some retail.
Retail would be great.
Alex is avoiding me right now. He's going to be on the show in February, whether he knows it or not.
Okay, good.
He comes on about once a quarter. We talk about these things. Now, he doesn't tell me anything that other people don't know already.
No, he won't tell you secrets.
No. He's going to say, well, just keep this between us and your listening audience. We're going to have X or Y come in. When I had Victoria on and I was asking about Razoo's, and because the issue with Razoo's, according to some, was parking, and she was like, we've done a lot of parking, and Alex disputed that as well. And I said, well, Alex, since you're on the line here, what's going to go in that place? And he goes, well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a secret. It's a business establishment. I'm telling you first.
Good.
Thanks, Alex. You know
what, though? Retail is tough to come by. Like, if I was thinking about this on my drive over here, where our place is, there's that whole shopping center where Specs is and all those other restaurants.
Yeah.
I think the only retail there is actually Specs. I think there's 20 new units over there.
Specs, that is an alcohol.
A liquor store.
Liquor store. What is liquor?
But the rest of them are restaurants.
What is this liquor thing? Josh, do you know? Liquor.
Don't look at me.
Okay, you're still 18. I know. No,
but retail is hard to come by. All that stuff just opened up, and none of it's retail.
That brings up a kind of related question about alcohol. We just now have liquor stores in Johnson County, Burleson, which allows you and others to buy from them instead.
Yeah, Proof Liquor just opened.
Yeah, and there's Proof, and then there's Twin Liquors over by HEB, and there's one in, I don't know if it's in. It's not in Tarrant. It's in Tarrant County, but it's another one over by Best Buy.
Yeah.
But you don't have a full bar at Gina's. But does it having better access to that kind of thing? Has it been helpful for you?
Not for us, because we buy from two distributors that deliver, so it's kind of a no-brainer for us. And we only have beer and wine.
Right.
If I had liquor, if I was like
Wild
Fresco's or
Wild Cigar,
or Wild, then sure, I'd want that option locally to pick something up. Would be
bet.
Great.
Well, because I know the owners of Wild, and you probably do too, and they have really resented, I guess, the fact they only had one supplier.
Yeah. And that guy was sticking it to everybody.
He was to everybody. I mean, he was charging retail, and if they didn't have it, you're not going to get it, kind of thing. And so they were more than glad to have another couple of options to give them some, discount.
It was a good choice by the city.
Yeah, it was. And, but, it shows that this really isn't the same kind of town it was back in the day. Let's see. Sherry says, my mom keeps asking to go to Specs. She's 82. I finally told her it was a liquor store. She said, never mind. Oh, okay.
I'll pick your mom up. I'll take her to Specs.
Yeah. Well, Specs is hardly some seedy outfit. Now, if she didn't like liquor, that's fine. But, I mean, it's not like some greasy joint,
I went to Proof the other day for the first time. Very nice people. They got a great deli they're getting ready to open up in there.
Now, this is the one that's over by
the old Winn-Dixie or
right.
CVS
Hobby
or
Lobby.
something used to be there.
The Hobby Lobby. Yeah. When they first opened, I was kind of walking around in there just to see, because I wanted to take a look. And then I started talking, and they said they were going to have a deli they said they'd have it by the end of this month. I don't know if they're quite on that schedule.
Yeah, they're real close.
Yeah, and so it's going to be kind of nice. And, a lot of people, I remember when they changed the liquor laws back in about 2009 to allow for beer and wine to be sold in Burleson and liquor by the drink at the restaurants. I tell you what really made the big difference was HEB, because they said, hey, we want to open up our first store north of, I think it was north of Waco, one of the first entries in the DFW market. But we're not doing that without selling beer and wine.
Now, how do you turn away that tax revenue?
No, that's right. And so I think that changed a lot of minds. I think also what changed some minds is, a lot of people don't realize it, but unless you're an old timer, but all those restaurants on the highway, on the east side of the highway, are Fort Worth.
They are Fort Worth.
Right. And so, so before people would build on the other side of the highway in Burleson, they wanted the same deal.
Yeah, it would have gave those guys an unfair advantage.
Yeah. They weren't like the people at the Applebee's and whatever else. They wanted the same deal. So, and I remember it was a pretty big deal. I remember our church was divided by that. The older deacons are like, oh, we don't want demon alcohol in this town, like as if it never existed in this town before. And us younger deacons are like, hey, we like Chili's. We want that over here. We want that in Burleson. But we wouldn't have Fresco's. We wouldn't have Station 330. We have all those restaurants.
Now we do have beer and wine in Cleburne. Now we're testing the brunch liquor thing. It's going well.
You gonna do that brunch liquor at like Mimosas or whatever here in Burleson?
If it proves to be popular enough and economically feasible, then sure, we'll absolutely do it in Burleson.
I asked you one time if you'd ever sell beer at our place, and your response then was, "It's not worth the trouble."
I didn't think it was, but that's why we're experimenting in Cleburne.
I don't know if anybody would be really upset if you sold beer with lunch, but you're not being an evening place, that might make a difference.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I can see Saturday and Sunday maybe selling a mimosa or two.
Yeah. As far as like hard liquor, I'd never see.
Never do that.
Happen. And you're not going to do hard liquor at Gina's.
No, we don't do hard liquor at Gina's.
Yeah, it's because you want this. That's not the atmosphere you want.
If you're eating pizza, a cold beer is perfect.
Oh, you betcha.
You don't need a shot of whiskey for pizza.
No. And I'll tell you another thing, fast listening audience. You're the first one, when I had COVID 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You came by my house with your soup and 10-cup whiskey.
Heck yeah.
And it's good stuff.
It fixed you right up, didn't it?
It sure enough did.
Yeah.
And so when Robin and I got sick again, like we were sick in early December.
Yeah.
I said, look, you think I'm just trying to be funny with you, but here, take a little sip of this. And
it's great.
And she took a sip, goes, oh, I'd rather have NyQuil. Okay, fine. But anyway, it does help. Yeah. And it's just like, but people think you're joking, but no. But, that's another thing, kind of side note is, one thing our place is known for is your soup.
Yeah.
And that ain't made from some mix. That's recipes that probably you'll take to the grave with you, that kind of thing.
The vegetable soup, it's just vegetables and water.
Well, and
seasonings.
Yeah, but there's the one I like. Your taco soup is really good.
The taco soup is good.
Yeah, that's the one I like the most.
Yeah.
And, as far as lunch, my problem with lunch is like, I want to try all these things, but if I do this, I won't get to have chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite.
Have you had our cheeseburger yet?
Yes, I have, because Robin had it.
Okay.
And she can't eat a whole burger.
Yeah.
So I had it. We split a burger.
Food.
Yeah. We split the burger, and it's excellent.
I love our cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I crave it all the time. I'm trying to stay away from the fattier foods right now.
Well, it must be difficult in a restaurant because,
believe it or not, we have a ton of healthy options. We've got grilled fish and grilled chicken and phenomenal salads.
Well, my wife has had one of your salads. And she was, I said, you go to our place and have salad? No, you go have chicken fried steak with gravy on it and taters and all that. No, she didn't do that. She gets salad. And she said it was excellent.
Yeah. Great lettuce blends and fresh vegetables.
And as far as, I haven't taken her to Gina's yet, but she's been in there before. But when it was...
you guys had dinner there one night.
She and I?
Yeah. I think that was her.
Oh, well, let's hope it's her. Hey, Robin. Yeah, right.
Thank you.
No, if I do, I've forgotten, but because I like pizza more than she does. She likes salads and those kind of things. But as far as lunches and all this other stuff, is that where you make most of your money, or is it mostly breakfast food over at our place?
At our place, it's 50-50.
50-50.
And then people will eat breakfast up until 3 in the afternoon.
Well, you were open at Gina's during lunch all week, and then you kind of scaled back. Is that
we scaled back because I've got really good employees at Gina's, but I didn't have enough employees to fill the complete schedule of lunch and dinner 7 days a week. And then instead of having mediocre guys on some days or taxing all my good guys, we decided to not open for lunch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yes, I noticed that by finding out the hard way, because I'm supposed to meet somebody for lunch for one of the B&I meetings, so like on a Tuesday, and I thought, well, maybe just didn't turn the lights on yet.
I don't like doing that. I think it confuses the marketplace. We'll eventually open earlier every day of the week.
Yeah, well, I know, but you got to have the personnel to do it.
Yeah.
Do you do mostly takeout, though, during the day?
No, it's a good combination of both. Yeah.
Okay. I've been there in like 3 in the afternoon before, and there's a couple other people, but I see a stream of people coming in and takeouts.
We do a lot of takeout and a lot of delivery through Uber Eats or DoorDash, one of the two.
You don't have like your own delivery person?
No. We've played with the idea. We think someday we might do it, but right now the Uber Eats and DoorDash work well.
I never use those.
Well, it's actually incorporated into our computer, so you don't even have to call Uber. You just go to our thing and order, and it just shows up.
I don't, I mean, that's fine. But, when I go get a pizza, I like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I want, if I want a pizza at home, I could do that. But I'd rather, come and, like I say, watch the game, have a beer.
People come in,
schmooze,
they order, they have a beer, they
chit
visit
chat
for a while.
Yeah, it's
nice.
a community thing.
Yeah.
You planning on expanding that? Because I know it's a tight space.
We're kind of limited right now in the shopping center because we have the barber shop next to us, and then there's a laundromat. But if any of them were ever to go, and I'm not saying I want them to go, both are wonderful businesses.
Right.
But we may consider expanding, sure.
Do they know not to mess with the Albanians, though? You go, okay, and it'd be a shame if something happened to this barber shop.
I'm only half Albanian.
All right.
Yeah.
The tough half, okay.
The good half.
The good half, okay. Well, anyway, yeah. That barbershop's been there a long time, too.
They've been there, and they're such nice people.
Yeah.
I mean, nice people.
Yeah.
And then the dry cleaner is great, too. I've been taking my dry cleaning there forever.
That's about the value of hometown.
Yeah.
And particularly, I don't see, this is not quite as common as it used to be because I've been out of the Burleson school system for 10 years now. But it was pretty routine for me to run into current and former students.
Yeah.
My wife still does. And and that's a good thing. And then I see them at church. And what's interesting about seeing former students at the store, at church, at the basketball game or whatever, high school event or whatever, and here they are, adults with children. It's like
crazy, right?
It is, and people, don't really get that opportunity to have what I've had.
Yeah,
which is to see people expand into their lives. Several people that are involved in a lot of these nonprofits, I could be more proud of them because they turned out to be the kind of people I knew they would be.
Yeah,
like I've mentioned Victoria. She's exactly the kind of young woman I thought she'd be. Mm-hmm. Mother, devoted wife, all that. You could see that a mile off.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have relationships with two of my teachers, my fifth grade and my high school teacher.
Yeah.
So you're blessed to be able to know those people.
Most of my high school teachers are probably in the old folks' home or in the choir eternal. But but I had good relations with my teachers.
That's good.
But I think the relations being I didn't grow in a small town. I grew up in Plano. Being a teacher here in this kind of town, I was able to develop closer relations with some of the students, some of which I still see occasionally, see them on Facebook, whatever. Like I said, I see them at church or whatever, things like that.
That's cool.
It's a blessing. I've seen them in our place.
And they're all fond of you. Again, not to bring Victoria up every second, but she constantly talks about how great you were.
I could tell you there's probably a couple that won't have me on their Christmas card list, and I'm okay with that. But, that's life. Yeah. But I appreciate that.
I got a couple of those too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes you have to deal with social media. Now we don't have to get into that too much, but there have been times when you've had to defend yourself on social media, and I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
I really am glad because some people just want to stir the pot for no reason.
Yeah, there's one guy in town. I won't bring his name up. Mm-hmm. Kind of a bloated, bald guy that wears a cape, and every time I turn around, the guy's commenting on something. It's so weird. I've never met him. Don't understand it.
Well, I don't know who you'd be talking about there's. I think though we're past a lot of that because the sign up for political office has already started, and it goes until like the 13th of February.
So who's running so far?
I know Larry is because he put it out.
Yeah, I know Larry is.
Adam Russell is.
Adam.
Chris Fletcher is.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I know. If anybody else is thinking about it, they may be waiting to the last minute.
How many seats are open? The mayor and 3
council members. So you talk about a majority of the council's up for re-election. Phil Anderson hasn't said directly, so I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but it would surprise me if he ran again, but I'll let him make that announcement. Yeah. As far as the school board, we have 3 seats, and I haven't heard any conversation about the school boards. School board is less sought after because that's a really thankless job these days.
I know.
And so, when I was retiring 10 years ago, someone, teacher friend said, "Hey, now that you're retiring, you can run for the school board." And I thought, maybe. And I had to go tell that to Robin. I didn't even finish the sentence. She said, "No way, not a chance. Forget about it." I didn't even get out of the dugout with my bat on.
So you don't think you'd try again?
No, I wouldn't. At this point, no. I don't have the energy I used to have for that, and dealing with the state would be too frustrating. Sherry says you can look it up on the city page. Well, I guess that's true. You can find out.
I think there's all good people running. I don't see much conflict. I mean,
Well,
Chris.
no, Chris has really done a good job now.
Adam's
When he first
Larry's great.
Yeah, when I first started with Mr. Fletcher, I think he was hobbled by a city council that was dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And that didn't help.
No.
And as the city council has kind of straightened itself out, he's been able to do some of the things he's been wanting to do. And he's also come to realize that there's a difference between campaigning and running the city. And that's and he knows now, well, sometimes you have to do things that you would never really want to do, but it has to be done. And I think he's done a really good job in this second term.
We've got a great team.
Yeah, and he always is very complimentary about that. Every time he's on the show, he talks about the city council, about how well they work together. And I think because of that, he's able to do the things he's been wanting to do or has to do, because there's some things that I'm sure he does, would prefer to do otherwise, but the finances and the budget require him to do something else. So he's done it much better. And he has a lot of compliments. I know Sherry's listening, but he just thinks the world of Larry and Adam in particular. Yeah. Oh, here you go.
Here's something for you.
Here you go. So, well, see, Phil did put his name in the hat, but there's nobody else running against him. And as far as the school board, I think that's the same. It'd be interesting if he didn't have an election. That's possible. It'd save a lot of money in tribulation, I guess.
Yeah. A good bunch of people, right there.
It really is, and they do a really hard job. I'm really glad to have Victoria on most of the time, but I've had Larry and Adam before, and it's like what you see out in Facebook land or whatever is different than what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Kind of like I guess you the restaurant, right? Because kind of get back to that is like people just think. You cook a meal, you serve the meal, you're done. No, I know. I worked in restaurants.
Restaurants are very personal, man. My decisions with the menu were things that I liked, and you got to worry. Oh my gosh, are people going to like this? And thank God it worked out pretty. We had challenges when I took over Gina's. I didn't even take into consideration. What's a good way to term this? Like the amount of energy and passion people had for the way Gina's was. Yeah. And we made some changes, and it made a couple people mad.
Well, the thing about it is, to be frank, I went to Gina's a couple times because I had students that worked there. Mm-hmm. And it was a different kind of pizza. But it also, the interior had been, they let it go. It got pretty shabby. The pizza was okay if you like, thick, greasier pizza. And stuff like that. But the thing about Gina's was that it was an institution in Burleson, but that institution wasn't kept up.
Yeah.
And by the time you bought it, I know it was still an active concern, but nobody I knew really went to Gina's. Okay. If they wanted pizza, they had 2 or 3 other options to go to. All right. And so, if you hadn't bought it, it would have gone out of business.
It was heading that way. Richard's a friend of mine. He was the guy that owned it. He's Gina's grandson, and he's the chief of police. And gosh, I can't remember the town, somewhere south of here. And he was just done with the pizza business. He was trying to focus on his job with the city, and I think it would have just faded away.
Well, I think a lot of people saw Gina's as like one of those old Burleson establishments that's going by the wayside, and I think he revived it. Myself.
I like to think we did. Yeah.
Absolutely did. I mean, because honestly, the people that lament the passing of Gina's, I don't know if they ate there very often, because I
don't think they did.
I haven't been there. I hadn't gone there since like the early '90s, and I tell you, the pizza place we used to go to in the '90s was at Burleson Pizza Company, where the pawn shop is now.
It was Pizza Inn and became
Pizza Inn, and then you also had Mama's come in and all this stuff. That's where they went. And so I think you revived it and made it a place to go to.
And it's cool, man. It's got such a cool vibe.
It does. Energy. And then, of course, you have Sunday night. You have the live music. Susie Morgan's taking care of that for you.
She's our music director.
Yeah.
Chooses all the bands, and she's knocking it out of the park.
And also Wednesday nights, you have the karaoke.
And Tuesday nights, we do free
free bingo.
And then chess club meets every Monday there.
Yeah, I was there last night and seen these guys playing chess. There's about 4 games going, 8 guys playing chess, and keeps them off the streets.
Yeah,
you know,
my grandson's part of that, and he loves it.
Well, that chess, those chess guys can get out of hand.
They're pretty rowdy.
Yeah, so calm down, But so you got something going on just about every night.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of nights on the Sundays, and it's pretty full.
Oh yeah.
Particularly when Susie's doing it.
Yeah.
Or her daughter Reagan. But it's becoming a place that Sunday night thing for a lot of people.
Some really cool music, and what I like is a lot of the people that are performing are members of bigger bands, so they get to break free from their band and just do a live acoustic thing, and you get to see a whole different side of them, and it's just cool.
Yeah, because I know
it's so much fun.
Susie and Woodrow sometimes do it with their band, but most of the time they're just a duo.
Just a duo.
Yeah, and it's nice. I'm running out of time here. I got to run to Corsicana after this. So.
I got 3 jobs I got to go to.
Yeah, I bet you do. Josh, you behaving over there?
Doing my best.
There you go.
It's good to meet Josh. He's a good guy.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah, well, I'll let him take one of these shirts. I'm going to take the black one. Of course, this green will swallow him up. But anyway.
Yeah, but look at all that hair that guy's
got.
He can pull it off.
Yeah, well.
Take pictures now. It doesn't last
that's
forever.
exactly right. What do you think I wear a hat all the time? Now we're going to be making a trip. I have an extra show this week. I'm going to have Lisa Boltinghouse.
Oh, good. I like her.
Yeah, she's a fireball, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
And next week I only have one show, and it's just me. I'm going to be ranting about something, but I'm trying to get a guest, but it's hard sometimes to get the schedules work out because, some of these people understand work for a living.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of Snowmageddon stories you can talk about.
Sort of. I'm going to talk about Greenland on Monday.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm going to give him, my opinion because you're entitled to it, like it says in the
poor Greenland.
Yeah, no kidding. That's I want to give away all the material.
No.
But it's like, oh, Lord, what now? Yeah. You ever feel like that in the world? Now, can we just have a week off?
Man, I almost think it's intentional. The what now, so we don't notice a whole lot.
Well, yeah, that's a good possibility. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for doing for the community. I know you do a lot of stuff. All right, Aaron, you have a good day too, buddy. I know you do a lot of good stuff for the community, and
this is my town. I love it.
Yeah, I know. And I know you'll be kind of, reluctant for us to say all these things you do for the community, but just we know, people know in this town, you support the nonprofits, you support people individually and whatnot. So, I've seen on your Facebook, hey, I got an employee who needs a car. I have an employee who needs a place to live, that kind of thing. Not every employer does that.
Oh, this town and my employees have taken such wonderful care of me.
Mm-hmm.
Man, since '85, since I got here. So least I can do is
God bless Texas, huh?
Yeah. God bless Burleson.
You betcha. All righty. And we'll see y'all on Thursday. We're going to talk about Center for ASD, what they got coming up in the spring. I know they have something in April every year over at the Brick, Light Up the Night kind of thing. And I think they have something in May, but I'm not sure.
And I've had so many friends' children's helped by that group. It's just a phenomenal group.
I have a friend whose adult son still participates with them. And so, you don't have many communities that have that kind of resource.
If you're looking for a group to help, that's one for sure.
And the thing about it is, you want to help them all, right? But everybody seems to have that one that they really focus on. And I have a couple. Yeah. But I help several. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but, there's a couple that I think are a little closer to my heart than others. Yeah. And that's the way it is for everybody. Should be.
Yeah.
All righty. We'll talk to y'all later, and y'all stay out of trouble, and we'll see you Thursday.
Very cool.